Welcome back. Now it's off to the forest with our compass for a little orienteering.
If you ever find yourself lost in a forest, Georgia Whitler is the woman you would want to have at your side. The talented 20-year-old is carving out a name for herself in a sport that requires a high level of fitness and a whole lot of quick thinking.
I'd sort of say it's a combination of cross-country running with map reading, where you go out in the forest and the course is not marked out for you and you have to navigate your way around it as fast as possible.
Orienteering is a sport that Georgia has been involved with her whole life.
I just dragged along as part of the family pretty much from when I was a baby. Went round in my mum's backpack when she did it, and yeah, just from there got more into it myself.
And although it's a sport that's relatively unheard of here in New Zealand, it has a huge following in Europe.
The sport originated in Scandinavia, where it was sort of a military training exercise, and then it moved on from there to be a worldwide sport. Yeah.
And it's a sport that does not require a lot of equipment, meaning you have to rely on your own navigational skills and an ability to keep calm under pressure.
Just on the start clock you get given the map. You don't have a look at it beforehand, so you don't know where the course is going to be. And then when you pick up the map you have a compass with you, and you set it round the right way and you head off into the forest to your first point. And that's, from then on you don't know where you're going or what's going to happen pretty much.
And although it may appear like aimless running to the untrained eye, there's more to it than just navigating your way through trees.
In the forest there's little orange and white flags. I know it sounds sort of silly, but they're at the point, so say it was on top of a hill, on top would be this flag. And on the flag is a little electronic box, and you have an electronic chip on your finger and you put it in the box and it registers what time you were there.
With each competitor setting off at time intervals, it's not so much about racing to catch the person in front of you as it is trying to get all the flags in the correct order in the fastest time, something that Georgia's clearly very good at, having already represented New Zealand on the international stage.
Last year I went to the Junior World Champs in Sweden. I lived in Sweden for the whole year pretty much, training and preparing for it. Yep. And unfortunately the Junior World Champs didn't go as well as possible for me, but it was a good experience anyway, and I'm looking forward to improving on it. Yeah.
And with the high level of fitness required to compete successfully in the sport, Georgia spends between 6 and 8 hours running each week, as well as working on some of the finer points of the sport.
Obviously you have to practice the map reading as well, not just the running, so we generally go out in the forest once a week to train for orienteering specifically, with a group of people from my club, which was quite good.
All this on top of her studies towards an engineering degree at Canterbury University. I question Georgia what gives her motivation.
Yeah, there's always those days, but you just have to get past it. I mean, getting out the door is the hardest part. Once you're out there in training, you can remember what you're training for and what you're aiming for and what this is all working towards. So it's worth it in the end.
And so what does the future hold for a woman who currently holds 2 national orienteering titles and has the Junior World Champs in Italy in July firmly in her sights?
Ultimately I'd obviously like to race the Senior World Champs, so this is my last year as a junior. After that I'd like to go into senior level, and who knows.
Put on your leotard. We're off to the gym for a little rhythm gymnastics.
Miriana Rademacher and Kimberly Robson are New Zealand's top 2 rhythmic gymnasts, but both came to the sport with different backgrounds.
Well, I first started out in artistic gymnastics and then I got an injury in my wrist, so I changed to rhythmic.
I started off when I was a ballet dancer, and then I really wanted to start gymnastics, and then my mum found someone that knew of this sport called rhythmic, and we'd never heard of it before, so I went along to a session and started from there.
And it's from there that the girls' careers have taken off in leaps and bounds, with a lot of hard work and dedication.
At the moment, we train around 6 times a week for about 4 hours each session.
Spending up to 4 hours a day in the gymnasium, there's a lot of different facets of the sport which the girls work on.
First hour and a half is just warming up and preparation and that kind of work. Then we come out onto the mat and do just body work and balances and that kind of thing. And then for the rest of the time we do just keep running routines.
Although it's a sport that obviously takes up a lot of their time, it's also a sport that both girls are clearly passionate about.
My favourite part would definitely be the competing and the performance side of things, and also the travelling. It's a big up.
And luckily for the girls, they've just been able to add a few more international stamps in their passports.
The trip to Europe was an amazing experience. It was like a 3.5-week tour. We went to 3 different countries. We went to Czechoslovakia, Poland and Belgium. We spent a week in each country. We'd train during the week and then compete in the weekends. So we got to meet like lots of new people, new gymnasts, new judges. Yeah, it was amazing.
But it wasn't just about gaining international experience. The girls were there to compete and represent New Zealand.
We're over in Europe to try to get some marks for the Commonwealth Games. So we went to 3 different competitions, one in Belgium, one in Czech Republic and one in Poland. And yeah, they were all really great experience. So.
The girls say they exceeded their own expectations at the first meet in Belgium, picking up a 4th and a 5th. But they say the biggest thrill was competing against some of the world's best rhythmic gymnasts.
The Baltic Cup in Poland, we got to compete as like a side Olympians, watch the Olympic champion group, senior international group, which was absolutely amazing. And I mean, it's different to watching it on video or seeing it on TV. Being there in real life.
Well, the experience of competing with Olympians in itself is pretty amazing, and finding out different cultures, different ways in which they train, and yeah, it was pretty overwhelming.
But now back on home soil and back in their home gym of Olympia, the girls have their sights firmly set on the season ahead.
At the moment I'm working towards retaining my title at the New Zealand Championships, which are in September up in Hamilton, and then I'm looking at working towards the trial for the Commonwealth Games, which is in the March, and yeah, so if I get there ultimately, hopefully I do, 2010 Commonwealth Games.
Well, we have to get a certain mark at this trial to be selected for the Commonwealth Games, so it's going to be hard, but yeah, at the moment we're only at the start of our season, so we've still got, you know, the rest of the year to build up.
So with their minds set on the Commonwealth Games in India next year, the girls will continue to juggle training and the busy lives they lead outside the gymnasium too.
It's quite hard. I also have a part-time job as well, so I have to balance that, but yeah, sometimes we come in during like school time and stuff, like during lunch hours and that kind of thing, and that makes up the hours.
It's really hard, but I suppose like with the sport it's taught me to be organised and more disciplined, so like I plan my day and that's how I get everything done, because I know I don't have any extra time to do it, so yeah, no, it's definitely taught me discipline, so that's how I get everything done, I suppose.
But as difficult as it may be at times, no doubt these girls will be bending over backwards and jumping through hoops to make the Commonwealth Games team next year.
Well done to both girls, as they have been both selected to go to the Commonwealth Games in India this October. After the break, we're off to the dojo.